Ahoy, all you crazy bastards. How are you? Yeah, welcome back, everybody. It's your weekly recap for number 48, which is actually, truthfully, number 47 because I suck at counting, but we're just going to continue miscounting it. So, good to see everybody. How was everybody's week?
Great.
Too darn long, but I'm happy to be here now.
Yep. And we got Vanya, Neozoic, and everybody else. And off topic from Neozoic. What are your thoughts on Google forced to sell Chrome by the feds to break up its monopoly? I will
Ooh,
have to look into it in order to give a better
Yeah.
informed opinion on it.
yeah, I want to know more too. Thanks, Neozoic.
Yeah,
Thank you,
we'll
Neo.
definitely have to look into it. Not tonight, though. We got a full plate tonight. But we
Yes.
got some interesting topics, and we'll start with the first one. We're going to kick right into it, folks. Where the hell is this dang thing? Ah, yes. Welcome to the weekly recap. Now, the first one, Ellen DeGeneres flees the U.S. after the election. Now, I'm not going to be toting into Trump and saying, "Yay, Trump!" all during this whole thing because we already know he won. We're happy he won. Awesome, he won. Okay,
Move
but
on.
the main point is Ellen DeGeneres here, and I'm going to have to share my screen to X because that's where I put it. All right, to make sure. Okay. Now, Streamyard. Is my audio okay right now, folks?
Right now,
Yes.
you are okay.
Okie dokes.
You are.
So, here we go. Now, huge loss from Breaking 911 as of November 20th. Ellen DeGeneres and her wife, Portia de Rossi, who I only remember of the movie Cursed with Nicole Richie, I think Nicole Richie, yeah. She played the Wednesday chick. She played a fortune teller who actually had the gift. And, well, they decided to move to the UK permanently following Donald Trump's election as president. Folks,
Mm.
the fact that this happened, it's like, hey, you do what you want, but also I kind of feel sorry for you because you have literally bought into all the bullshit. You have subjected yourself to years of stupidity and believed it to be true that you can't actually understand things cannot go the way that you think they will go. Everybody's like, oh, Trump is going to ban LGBTQ this. Trump is going to round up and murder LGBTQ that and whatnot. Honestly, what did he do to last his first fucking 4 years? He didn't do anything that impacted him. Not a damn thing. And yet but I will say this, also congratulations to Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi, because you are the first celebrities to actually keep your fucking word.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to the other ones, I mean, we already know that Whoopi Goldberg said or never said she would. Everybody was claiming she would, and they bought it because, well, some people are stupid. And she clarified on The View, not that I like The View, that she is not going anywhere. Because honestly, according to her, she's broke, even though she makes $5 million a year, which is kind of weird. But yeah, congratulations to Portia de Rossi and Ellen DeGeneres. You bought into the dumbest fucking grift ever, which is known as, well, to be completely blunt, the Democratic Party. Not to mention, to basically give you a full context, guys, Ellen DeGeneres and Kamala Harris did joke about killing President Trump. So there's also that. But now turn over to the panel. Kate, what's your thoughts on this?
Might be a Diddy connection too. You know,
Mm-hmm.
That is true. Yeah, there is
leaving
the Diddy.
leaving the country. You know, before the new DOJ takes over and starts investigating things. But yeah, first ones to actually hold up to their word. So, Barbara Streisand, can you GTFOH, please? Thanks.
All right. Ambassador, your thoughts?
I cannot help but laugh because she has fled a country that supports her lifestyle, even though I don't necessarily agree with it. I cannot condone, but I cannot condemn. But she has gone to a country where it's very possible her and her spouse might be subject to a lot of discrimination, considering that there are a lot of, and I'm not saying this to be any means.
We know it's part of their religious beliefs.
Yeah. It's very possible they may be discriminated against by the very large Islamic population that is out in Great Britain. So good job, Ellen. But I have to say this as well, concerning the stories that came out about the production, her conduct behind the scenes on her show. I cannot say that I'm not happy to see her leave. Of course, I have a I think everybody here knows I work at McDonald's, and we have an acronym for the Filet-O-Fish sandwich. We call it Deep Fried Dory because, well, Ellen DeGeneres did the voice of Dory for Finding Nemo, and well, considering just how horrific a human being she really is, and no, it has nothing to do with her sexuality, just as a person, I can't say anybody necessarily would be sad if she got deep fried. But yeah, am I sad to see Ellen DeGeneres leave? Not really. No. Be happy in Great Britain. Never see you again. I don't care. I didn't even watch your crappy show. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
But yeah, actually, now that you bring up, Great Britain has gone to the Muslims, due to the massive immigration problem that they also have. Millions of Muslims have moved into Great Britain, and I do believe they have a Muslim prime minister, if I remember correctly. So it's holy shit, you guys are about to really kick it off over there. But getting into our next topic, I mean, this one was quick and dirty. So this next one was originally just one part, but now it's a 2-part. Rachel Zegler's narcissism and Snow White leak trailer confirms girl boss hero. So yeah, we got a video, folks, from 2 years ago to add the proper context. This girl thinks she is so successful. Oh, let's watch, shall we? Now, let me get to the right window here. So, yeah, just turn up all your volume, folks.
Who hates when I win. And to everyone who hates when I win,
right.
The winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see. And to everyone.
So, yeah.
Wow.
It seems that her absolute narcissism knows no bounds, folks. Literally, I mean, like fucking Marcus from Underworld. I mean, it's like your narcissism knows no bounds. To think that you are successful, first off, is absolutely fucking ridiculous. West Side Story, flop. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is considered not profitable, but also not a flop. You see, folks, in order to be considered a success, it has to make 3 times its budget. In order to be considered a flop, it doesn't even break even. This one was in that, or was in between break even and profitable. So it didn't make it made its budget back, but it didn't make 3 times the budget back. So yeah, not profitable. Shazam 2. Flop.
Yeah.
Upcoming Snow White.
Most likely a flop.
Definitely gonna flop. But this
And
isn't
not only
all,
was
folks.
Shazam a flop, but like The Rock went around like it was gonna be like the next Man of Steel.
All right. Don't get me wrong. I did actually enjoy parts of Shazam 2: Fury of the Gods, but her character was not an aspect of that movie that I necessarily enjoyed, much less remember.
Yeah.
I liked Helen Mirren. I liked Lucy Liu, but her, she can go kick. She can go pound sand.
Yep.
Anyway.
But yeah, so that's not all, folks. There was a leak. Get this. There was a leaked trailer from Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And then Disney decided to release the trailer, but not on YouTube because they were afraid of the ratio. And it confirmed what everybody knew was going to happen. She's not going to be saved by the prince. No, the prince is going to fucking save, or she's going to save the fucking prince. She's not going to be saved by the prince. No, she's going to save the fucking prince. So let's get into this article by that Park Place. Shout out to them. And yeah, 48 hours ago, as of the writing of the article, noted scooper and Park Place publisher, giving themselves a shameless plug, WDW Pro announced the new scoop that Disney's attempt to limit damage to their upcoming Snow White movie. To do so, he announced the company was considering releasing the main Snow White trailer before Wicked or Moana 2, but not release a YouTube trailer video simultaneously. This would be to prevent a downvote brigade that could drive a new negative narrative about the movie. When it is released, guess what? It will be downvoted into oblivion.
Oh, yeah.
After having watched the trailer, it's rather obvious why they might try to do so. We're not watching the trailer. I do not feel like having my stream copyright claimed or removed.
Also, we don't want to subject you to that.
Nor do we want to. Yeah, true. We don't. A number of
things. You can just still watch it if you want.
Yeah, it's all over X. A number of things stand out from the leaked trailer. We have embedded from an X account. First, reports that Snow White would lead a revolution against the monarchy turn out to be absolutely true. While Disney puts classic story in the trailer, this is clearly not in any way how the original Snow White fairy tale nor Walt's version play out. The idea of Snow White leading a military effort against the evil queen with the dwarves in tow is rather amazing. We're not sure it's amazing in a good way. Furthermore, Snow White appears to try to rescue the prince in the trailer, confirming again that the princess will be the hero, not the male figure. Because men are scum. Men are trash. Men are evil, according to Disney. This confirms a number of WDW Pro scoops, but the biggest, of course, is the damage control effort by Disney not releasing on YouTube. The trailer also features original music and shows the young girl playing Snow White. Pro has previously said, and she will feature prominently as Disney's lost confidence, and Zegler as much screen time. So what do you think of the trailer? Well, we don't know. We aren't going to watch it. And
I did.
Whatnot. So basically, all right, you've seen the trailer?
Yes.
Give us a rundown. Give us a rundown.
Well, essentially, we have some conflict, obviously, between Snow White and the evil queen played by Gal Gadot, and I know that everybody here is the biggest fan of Gal Gadot, fair enough. But to say that she is by any means not fair in terms of not beautiful, bullcrap.
Hmm.
Gal Gadot is a beautiful woman. I think we can all say that with honesty. So this idea that she is jealous of Snow White and her beauty, where quite frankly, Rachel Zegler, she ain't that pretty. I'm just gonna
No, she
say it.
isn't.
She's not that pretty. And I will say that. Okay, trailer. Obviously, there's some, ooh, I don't like you because you're prettier than me. I don't like you because you're old. We got the scene with the dwarves. We've got her on horseback riding through some forest area. We've got the evil queen transforming into the old hag version of herself, and we've got the apple and so on. And obviously, we see Snow White reaching for the apple and what have you. Honestly, the trailer is very underwhelming, and yeah, it does confirm everything that we've already surmised on our own. She's going to save the prince. I'm going to say this, love it or hate it, Kristen Stewart was a better Snow White than Rachel Zegler will be. And that,
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, she had skin as white as snow, so.
well, okay, and this too. I don't know if everybody's a fan of the show, being a Mam Ambassador are. The Snow White from Once Upon a Time, the TV show,
Mm-hmm.
she is a way better Snow White than Rachel Zegler ever will be. Not to mention she's believable. But yeah, this movie.
The trailer was meh. And
Yeah, the trailer was very meh. It confirmed everything we knew and confirmed that pretty much nobody wants to see it.
But it also seems like they gave us they wanted to give us like a really exciting Snow White, like their first version. I feel like they were really excited about that. And then they like did reshoots and made the dwarves like CGI dwarves instead of like the weird magical creatures, which if I were the actors who were the, magical creatures or whatever, I'd be like, bruh, what's going on here? But it looks like they just kind of sandpapered down smoothed out the edges of the movie that they wanted to make, made, a blander version, and kept, the girl bossy part where she saves the prince and then they get together at the end. Maybe she stalks him instead of him stalking her. I don't know. Maybe they just do a role reversal because it's not bad when women do it. And then, but who really wants to see this movie?
Right. As for me, I've already made my prediction on how much this movie will lose, given the $300 to $400 million budget that this will most likely have due to reshoots. You have to basically triple or 2 times your budget. So 400, 800, but you also got to take into account that China, if China takes it, will take 90% of the skim off the box office. So you also have to basically make, for this movie, carry the 2, add a bunch of other shit. Yeah. $1.2 billion just to make profit. Folks, this movie is not going to do that. We already know. It has over 1 million plus dislikes on YouTube, its trailer. Also, it doesn't even have 100,000 likes. It only has like 96,000 likes.
I mean, that's barely 100,000, but yeah.
Yeah, not even that. Or not, yeah, 96,000 likes. That's not even 100,000. And so, not only that, Rachel Zegler has made herself deeply unlikable. Her constant outbursts, her constant shade throwing at her own castmates, her antics are just making her completely unlikable, and people are waking up to all of that. Now that social media is a thing, people are waking up to the controversies of Hollywood. My job is essentially done. I began this journey of YouTube to let people know what they are supporting is outright evil. Most of it. And while we see all the wonderful positive aspects of Hollywood in their movies and their shows, we don't see what goes on behind the scenes. That's why I did what I did in starting a YouTube channel. Essentially, my job is done. People have also done the same, covering the controversies and whatnot. But me, I'm not going anywhere. Don't worry, folks. This isn't a I'll see you on the other side kind of thing. No, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to keep doing this as long as I can. But the thing is, Rachel Zegler, you made your bed. You shat in it like Amber Heard. And then you blamed it on everybody else, including Gal Gadot. I mean, the truth is, Gal Gadot also did kind of take a dump in the bed, too, because she also dumped on the original. Gal Gadot is not free of blame here, folks. She also joined in on the, it's a positive message for women, and she's not going to be saved by the prince. She was the first one to actually point that out. So, yeah, she's not innocent. She's not innocent. She has culpability. Nerd Ogre, hello, good to see you. Now, there's a question from Neozoic that's off topic of ours, but I will answer it. Well, actually, it's not off topic. It involves Snow White. So, which one film is a bigger disaster, Snow White or Captain America BMW? Snow White.
Yeah.
Snow White.
Because here's the thing, there's not been too much negative press around Captain America. I mean, yeah, aside from them changing the title from New World Order to Brave New World, other than
and
that,
constant reshoots to basically a different movie than what the trailer showed.
Yeah, but here's the thing: none of the cast have come out and said anything egregiously stupid. I mean, yeah, Harrison Ford did his whole thing during the election, but that, everybody likes Harrison Ford. I like Harrison Ford, even if he does say stupid crap. The man's still entertaining.
Good saying. Good point. Nobody's innocent. Some of us are just less guilty than others. Yeah. But yeah, folks, really, it's just I really prefer overhyping obscure stuff like Ang Lee's Hulk. Yeah. Hello, Christian. Good to see you. Follow Christian Freights if you like obscure media, folks. Meaning the less known stuff. Yeah. Moving on, or is there any final thoughts on this?
No.
I'm good.
All right. So moving on to our next one, we have let's see here. A Star Trek AI short film look. So let's go to this tab. We'll put it in theatrical. Okay, this thing is weird because it's not doing what I wanted it to do. Okay, that's better. Now let's add it to the screen. So, folks, we are going to share audio. So I have yet to watch this, but we're all. Also, it does seem I'm getting a weaker signal. Am I coming in clearly still?
Yeah.
All right.
For me, anyway.
All right. So without further ado, this is a Star Trek Unification, a perfect fan film. So let's see what this is.
Are you all right? I am uncertain. I am happy to see Spot. Yet I am crying. Perhaps the chip is malfunctioning.
I think it's working perfectly.
Okay.
This was the reaction. This isn't the actual fan film. I can give
well,
the rundown for it if you want me to, and everything.
Sure.
'Cause-
I mean, this just
so-
turned into something weird.
Yeah, you pulled up. You didn't pull up the actual fan film. You pulled up a reaction to the fan film.
Got it. Sorry, folks. We'll
It's
give
okay.
or let the ambassador give the rundown on it, and
And I
also I don't
encourage-
want to play the fan film to be complete. Before I do, sorry, ambassador. If playing the fan film is going to get me copyright, it's kind of a good thing that we don't.
Yeah,
But you
But I
saw
would
that little
encourage-
bit of it, at least.
I encourage you all go check out this fan film. A friend of mine on X shared it with me as well. They are a big Trek fan, same as myself. Essentially, the premise for this is Kirk has come back. For those of you that saw Star Trek Generations, you know obviously Kirk passed away at the end. Essentially, what happens is the spirit of Kirk comes back from the Nexus to rejoin Spock on his deathbed. And it's a very surreal experience. It's almost it almost reminds you a little bit of 2001: A Space Odyssey, only set in Star Trek, obviously. And the big thing that a lot of people are talking about was this was a proper send-off for Kirk and for Spock that nailed it in all the ways that the fans of Star Trek wanted, whereas with Luke Skywalker and Han Solo and even Princess Leia's send-off in the sequel trilogy failed. A couple of interesting notes on this short film. Members of Leonard Nimoy's family actually worked in production on this film, so I would imagine the company had full right to use his image. Obviously, they had stand-ins for Leonard Nimoy, a stand-in for Leonard Nimoy because obviously he's no longer with us. But they also brought in Sam Witwer. For those of you who may not know who that is, he plays a younger version of Kirk in the short film. Sam Witwer has numerous voice roles for various Star Wars projects, including he played Maul, he played the Son in Clone Wars, and he also played obviously Maul in Clone Wars and Rebels. He did the voice of Galen Merrick or Starkiller for the Force Unleashed games. He's done a lot of different stuff, and they had obviously they had Shatner involved in this as well. So if you're a fan of Trek, I would highly encourage you go check this out and everything, because it was, like I said, I think a better send off than for Spock's character and obviously for Kirk's character as well than what certain characters in the Star Wars universe got. And I think the other thing too is the use of AI for this. Obviously, they used AI for Kirk. They used AI for Spock, but they also had Robin Curtis return to she returned to the role of Lieutenant Savick. For those you may recall, she played Savick in Star Trek 3 and at the beginning of Star Trek 4, where Christy Alley originally played Savick in Star Trek 2: Wrath of Khan, and she played an older version of herself.
Alrighty. Well, I think that it's a nice idea that fans made this film. I mean, I have no problem with it. I'll have to actually look up the fan film itself.
I'll see if I can find a link for you.
Yeah, put it in our group chat on
Yeah.
X. But yeah, it just sorry, folks. I kind of said we were going to watch a little fan film, but oh well. But it turned out not happening the way we wanted. But Kate, any thoughts? Kate?
Kate. Kate, are you there? Use your words.
Kate? Nerd with a cigar? Did she fall asleep?
I hope not.
Hey, sorry, I walked away in my thing.
Ah, okay, got it.
Sorry, my headphones went. Ka-cha!
Yeah. But yeah, any thoughts on the AI and film that we couldn't watch?
According to all the Trekkies that I know, they really appreciated it for all of the little cookies and things that were in it. Um, so I'll say that. I'm not a huge Trekkie, so when I saw it and I saw like the little things that I saw, I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. Oh, I recognize that person. Oh, I recognize that person. And I did see the Star Trek films, so I feel like I was able to, um, you know, recognize a few of the characters. But I don't know, like it seemed like a good send off from everybody, what everybody said that I appreciate their opinion, or whose opinion I trust rather. They liked it, so it's really sad that they can do a better job like the AI movie than, like Discovery and all this other stuff. But
Yeah.
that's all I
Okay.
got.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Moving on then.
So, moving on to the next and last topic before our movie discussion, because we're going to be discussing an entire trilogy of movies.
Ew.
Let's see here. How to Train Your Dragon. Yeah. See, folks, this was not a topic that I was going to discuss tonight, but because of the fact that it has become a rather hot button issue, I figured it would be neglectful to not cover it.
He
And
literally said, he's like, emergency topic edition.
yeah, it's like emergency topic edition. So yeah, we're gonna be discussing this thing. So, How to Train Your Dragon has done their teaser trailer, and it has revealed that, well, it has confirmed rather, because it was already revealed, that Astrid has been, well, race swapped, and many people are not happy about it. Now, they are not happy for a variety of reasons. One, people are sick of race swapping. Two, why remake something that is 14 years old, which the last installment literally came out 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's my reasoning. It's like, look, aside from the stupid ass woke agenda, which yes, there is wokeness attached to this, despite what family members that I discussed this with think, there is wokeness attached. And I will go through that if you, or when you guys give me the chance. Woke or not woke, this is woke. Because, again, they chose this shit simply to push a diversity quota. Well, there's black Vikings. Sure, there are black Vikings. Yes, there are other Vikings as well that do not have the Nordic ancestry. They were very diverse at their bloodlines. But here's the question. Do you know why they are diverse in their bloodlines? I can guarantee you that their mixing was not consensual.
Yep.
So sure, you can have a mixed bloodline here and there. I mean, but do you really want to go over the particular details as to why raping and pillaging happened to be a thing for the Vikings back then? Yeah. They wanted to ensure that their way of life didn't die out. So they bred with multiple bloodlines.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, folks, let's get into I'm going to bring up the article here. This is the article from Collider, so you already know this is going to be a far left bullshit article. How to Train Your Dragon director addresses live-action Astrid casting controversy. We're crafting a fantasy, not a historical fact. Well, here's the thing. People are sick and tired of the fantasies that they grew up with or enjoyed, and even when recent, and yes, I am going to say recent because it's 14 fucking years old.
Yeah.
Wait 20 years before you decide to do a remake, in my opinion. But the point is, folks, This was done simply to, I mean, yeah, some people are like, it's a live action reimagining. No, this is a live action remake to modernize it because the point is they want it, or because the problem is all the people in Hollywood and all the people who are triggered by too many white people. This is just the truth of it, folks. They didn't like the fact that it was too white. There are some people who bitch about a lack of diversity in their in Hollywood's products. And look, nothing against the actress. This is not an attack on the actress herself. This is not. I want to make sure or clarify that. But dude, you saying we're not doing historical fact? Of course you're not. It's a fucking movie about dragons. But why? Answer us. Why did you hire her to be Astrid? Is it because you want a little bit of diversity in the film? Or is it because of a different reason? Or because she was the best out of all of the interpretations? And are you going to sit there and tell me with a straight face that you weren't trying to do a diversity quota? Because we all know that is a requirement in Hollywood right now if you want to win Best Picture. So yeah, that's a requirement, folks. Don't believe me? Look it up. You want to win Best Picture in Hollywood? You have to have a diversity quota. You have to have a person of color, a gay character, disabled character, not just in front of the camera, but behind the camera. Otherwise, you are not fitting of the qualifications for Best Picture. So do not come at me and say, oh, it has nothing to do with wokeness. Bull fucking shit. I've been looking or doing this gig for fucking 5 years. I have refined my ability to identify what is woke, what is not. I have made my mistakes and I have learned from them. And I am guaranteed telling you, they did this simply to fill a fucking quota. And that is shameful. Because this girl, Nikki, whatever her name is, Nikki Parsons or whatever, she was picked simply because they wanted to fill a quota. Now, yes, she is very light-skinned. She can actually pass for white because she's mixed race. But that, to me, I don't fucking care. She may be a good actress. That's fine. Why not hire an actress who has blonde hair, blue eyes? But if you guys want to keep on race swapping, if you think it is okay to keep race swapping and doing this, fine. I want an X-Men movie with a white Storm. I want a fucking Martin Luther King biopic with Martin Luther King played by a white guy. And to top it all off, I want the third Wakanda movie, the third Black Panther movie, to be White Panther. Put a white guy in it as T'Challa, reborn. Now, here's the thing, folks. A lot of people are going to say, oh, that's just fucking racist. So is what Hollywood has been doing. By your own fucking logic. So, or if you think race swapping a white person for a black person isn't racist, then neither is swapping a black person for a white person. You don't get to have your cake and eat it too. That's not how it goes. So let's get into this article, and then I will turn it over to the panel. The anticipation builds for the live-action adaptation to How to Train Your Dragon. One casting choice has sparked a senseless debate. Nico Parker, known for her breakout role as Sarah in HBO's The Last of Us, never heard or didn't care for the show, and I didn't watch it. Because honestly, they kept on pushing stupid shit in that as well. She was cast as Astrid, the fearless Viking warrior who serves as Hiccup's love interest in the series. But the casting has come with the criticisms for one reason. Parker is not white, nor does she have blonde hair. The film's director, Dean I don't care what his last name is, took to Instagram to address the criticism. revealing the casting process focused on finding actors who captured the spirit and personality of the characters rather than adhering strictly to their animated counterparts. We auditioned many actors for the roles, included actors who looked like their animated counterparts. So, okay, you did. Are you still going to tell me that you didn't want to fill that diversity quota? We already know that you have no choice but to, if you want to make Best Actor and Best Picture and whatnot. He went on to explain how Parker's casting made sense for the world's story building. The tribe in this version is made up of descendants of the finest dragon fighters from everywhere the Vikings have ever traveled, which historically was far and wide, Vikings mixed with many cultures. Still, we're crafting a fantasy, not historical fact. Instead of a completely new tale, we aimed to embellish and deepen without abandoning the story that fans love. Is that why you made the character that was played brilliantly by Craig Ferguson gay? Oh, yeah, you guys didn't know that? Yeah, his character's gay in the new film, which he wasn't in the old films. He was very, very straight, considering he was going after some of the women. Criticisms of actors of color is nothing new. Of course, the criticism over casting actors of color in roles previously played by white people is not unusual. We can easily cite examples of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Oh, shit. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, where Hermione was played by a black actress. The only visual descriptor of Hermione in the books refers to her teeth and bushy hair, which, because Emma Watson played the role, this meant it was locked to white characters for the rest of time. Similarly, Halle Bailey faced backlash when she was cast as Ariel, another character who was portrayed as white in The Little Mermaid, Disney animated classic. However, there is one thing that Astrid, Ariel, Hermione all have in common. They are not real. What it does matter is who is cast in the role if they're good at it. Wolverine is Canadian, but Hugh Jackman is Australian. And did you hear Hugh Jackman when he was playing Wolverine? Let me ask you something, jackass. Was he using an Australian accent?
Nope.
No, he wasn't. So, that is apples and oranges here. Get rid of him. Ahsoka Tano is Targruta, but Rosario Dawson is a human woman. We should cancel Star Wars. Now you're just being fucking retarded.
Yeah.
Targrutas don't exist in real life, you fucktard. The narrative over whitewashing now being replaced by the exact opposite is nonsense at best. Bull fucking shit! And at best, harmful at worst. Harmful? How's it harmful? We are not saying that black people can't fucking work. We are simply saying create original characters for them. Make them characters that fit them so that they can be original characters. Stop fucking giving them the sloppy seconds. That's kind of demeaning to a person. Well, the character was white, but we're going to give it to you because, well, you are not worthy enough to have an original character for yourself, you see. That's basically what it's saying. That's what we've been going about for all this time. It's not because we're fucking racist, you jackasses. It's because we actually have respect for black people. We actually have respect for people or other races that we want them to have their original characters. I mean, y'all love to say, well, Marvel isn't diverse enough. Marvel, or some of the strongest characters in Marvel are fucking people of color. Storm is an Omega level mutant. The strongest character, one of the strongest humans in Marvel, Blue Marvel, is a black man. He's living antimatter. He could blow up the planet with a fucking touch if he wanted. He could kill Superman if they ever fought. But yeah, yeah. They've never given him an on-screen performance yet. Why, Marvel? Why? folks, the narrative, Parker will be tremendous as Astrid, and How to Train Your Dragon will be better for her presence. How to Train Your Dragon will fly into theaters June 13th, 2005, so 6 years after the movie, or 6 years after the original trilogy has ended. Stay tuned for Collide for more updates. So, yeah, that fucking horseshit is, I'm sorry, folks. They're trying to basically make the claim, oh, you're not but racists for, saying or pointing out a fact. You pointed out a fact. That's inconvenience to us. You're racist. It's horseshit, folks. They only picked this girl to suit a fucking narrative. And that is the actual truth. How to Train Your Dragon doesn't need a remake. You're damn right. How to do, Riot Kitty, and you're damn right. And also, what's up, girl? It's always good to see Riot Kitty, folks. I agree with the comment on Star Wars cancel it. Yeah, honestly, I'm right there with you. Martin Luther King is wrong. Oh, shit. Hey, there you go. Elon Musk is T'Challa. Get a real African American to fill the role. There you go. That works too. But yeah, folks, if you want to push this DEI horseshit, fine. But the reverse isn't racism, because apparently reverse racism doesn't exist, according to their logic. But anyway, now I cede it to the panel. We'll start with Kate. What do you think? Does it need a remake?
No, it doesn't need a remake, and it doesn't need a live action, and none of these, like, DreamWorks does not need to follow in the suit of Disney of like making soulless remakes. I'm just, I don't know, just come up with something new. You know what I mean? I'm so tired of this BS. Like, it doesn't need a remake, and then like you couldn't find like any blonde chick, like really, you couldn't find
Well, they did.
any.
They auditioned somebody who fit the description. They just didn't hire her.
I'm just saying, like, really, you couldn't find like any Nordic looking chick at all.
I can think of
Any
two.
of them. Look, they found plenty of them for that Viking television show that I have never seen, but
Yep.
they from like the pictures and whatnot, they look pretty Viking-esque. So like those actors exist, it's not just anywho. It didn't need a remake, and then on top of that, they're gonna, just now they're doing it just to spite us. You know what I mean? They're like, haha, let's just make them mad. Like, you know what I mean? I just feel like that's what.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, as I said, folks, this is not a slight against Nico Parker. This has nothing to do with Nico. This has everything to do with the decisions behind her casting. I have nothing against this young woman. Nothing against her. No hatred. No vitriol. Everything that I am pointing out all of that goes towards the accountability of the people who hired her for the reasons they hired her. And of course, if somebody asked them directly, did you hire her to fill the diversity quota so you can make Best Picture in Hollywood? Because we already know that that diversity quotas are actually a requirement. How dare you, sir? They're never going to admit it. But we already know the truth. Ambassador, your thoughts?
Here's the thing. Me and Mad Ambassador, we absolutely loved the How to Train Your Dragon movies. We went to see all of them in theater. Thoroughly enjoyed them. Great story. Great coming of age story. Great story of a young man taking up the mantle of leadership after his father. Mild spoilers, in the second movie, Stoic dies.
Yeah.
And obviously he gets his mother, and that's great. I mean, the movies had a good flow. They built off one another. It was a story about family and community and understanding the outsider, because obviously the outsider in this case is the dragons. Toothless and all the other dragons, that we get introduced to great characters in their own right. And from watching the trailer, they used one of the most iconic scenes from the first movie when Hiccup meets Toothless for the first time. And he looks away, holds his hand up, and then Toothless touches his hand.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, this series does not need a remake. Now, aside, I can name 2 actresses off the top of my head, blonde-headed, maybe not blue-eyed, but blonde-headed and beautiful. Sydney Sweeney and Anna Taylor-Joy. Either one of them could have made a pretty damn good Astrid. Anna Taylor-Joy maybe more so.
Sydney Sweetie, it has the emotional depth of like it.
They're also older because, no, they are older. They're in their 20s, where these kids are in their lesser or younger years.
Yeah, and that's fair enough. Fine. Okay. No problem. But the point is, this movie does not need to exist, and it has nothing to do with the cast. You want to watch How to Train Your Dragon?
How old the others are. Yeah.
Yeah. Go watch the originals. The originals are not. There's very few problems with the originals. They're wonderful films. None. Huh?
Honestly, I saw none. No
problems.
Problems,
you mean? Yeah, none. They were good, solid family films.
They're solid family films. They have great music. They have excellent lessons to be learned about how to, or not to judge people or not to judge things or animals simply because of what they are and whatnot. Why are they remaking it? Oh, because we can show that we can do live action. You've already shown that and proved it a million different times over.
You can't.
Go ahead. Sorry.
These movies are already perfect as is. They don't need to be remade. This is just a dumbass vanity project to see, oh, hey, can we make dragons in live action? Yeah, you can. It's called CGI. You've already done it. It may have been animated CGI, but it's still CGI. You're just using live action elements as the backdrop for the CGI.
You want to know something interesting? I've seen. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Finish up. No. Finish up.
My point. You want to watch How to Train Your Dragon? Go watch the originals. Screw this needless cash grab. Screw it.
Mm-hmm. The same that happened to Ghostbusters 2016. There wasn't a Ghostbusters 2016. There was an attempted Ghostbusters 2016, and it was a failed attempt. It's going to happen to How to Train. Thing is, it might not work that same way, Nerdy Ogre, because there are groups out there that, group channels that out there that used to be against wokeness, that used to actually say, look, we're sick of the race swapping and shit. But it seems that they're promoting this film as if it didn't happen at all in this film. And I'm not going to mention the names. All I know is that their channel color is green. That's all I will say on that. But the point is, do you think that this remake would be a failure? No, because we now have the people who used to be against wokeness. They are now for wokeness. They are basically bending the knee. I'm sorry, I am not for it. This movie, even without the recast, or even without the casting of Nico Parker, take that out. Say they did a white Astrid with blonde hair, blue eyes. I would still say that this film is a senseless remake.
Yeah.
Because, again, the last movie to How to Train Your Dragon was 5 fucking years ago. The first one was 14 years ago. What is the reason? You have not given me an actual fucking reason for this. So we could prove that we could do shit in live action? You've done that. You've already fucking done that. And get this, the best dragons that have ever been CGI and in a live action movie were in Reign of Fire. I have not seen a better CGI dragon since that movie. Not Smaug, not the Harry Potter horn or horntail thing. Nothing. The bull and the dragons in Reign of Fire are top level. You'll never beat them. They did those perfectly, even with lighting. It's gonna tank and they're gonna blame Trump.
I will say one thing. I agree with you on Reign of Fire, but there was a movie several years beforehand that actually did a very good CGI dragon. That was, of course, Dragonheart, voiced by Sean Connery. But that was before Reign of Fire.
I have recently watched Dragonheart. I've talked about it during a mystery review, I believe. And the thing is, I look at the CGI for Draco. Yes, great story. Yes. But he is very, very much not lit well in that movie.
Fair enough.
He is very, very much identifiable as a CGI creation. Where the ones in Reign of Fire, they look as if they are actually real fucking dragons with a couple of shots that are that obviously betray the fact that they aren't.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying what the groundwork that was laid in Dragonheart, obviously they perfected with Reign of Fire.
Oh, definitely. That I will agree with. Any final thoughts on this before we move to the movie discussion? Kate?
9.
9? All righty,
Yes.
folks. So we are going over to our movie discussion, which is the Dark Knight Trilogy by by Christopher Nolan. Now let me see if I can pull it up here. Yep, we're going to be discussing this puppy. Begins, falls, rises. Well, it didn't say, or the second one is a Dark Knight Rise or Dark Knight Falls, but yeah, you get the point. This movie or movies were done basically to make a grounded Batman movie. And I gotta say, folks, they did it well. So, starting with Kate, what was your reaction to the casting when you first heard about these movies? What was your reaction to the casting of Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne and Batman?
Let's see, I think I was like 12 when I saw Batman Begins when it came out, and me and my friend used to watch it on like the little handheld DVD player. I knew, I think my friend had told me that Christian Bale signed up for 3 movies, but he was like, hey, you know, the movie didn't do so hot, so we weren't sure if there was going to be a second one. But I really enjoyed Batman Begins. I wasn't a super huge fan of Rachel in the first one. I think I liked the casting better in the second one for Rachel. Just Katie Holmes didn't. I don't know. She just didn't like sell it for me in the first movie. But overall, I really enjoyed Batman Begins. You know, before we get into like the whole trilogy, but like at the beginning, before I like knew everything, and you know got the full scope of everything. Standalone, Batman Begins is a really great film. Very solid. Very typical Nolan. You know, where it's not linear storytelling. And just I don't know, overall solid Batman film.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, come on, Liam Neeson, let's go.
Oh yeah, Ambassador, your reaction to Christian Bale?
Being someone who has seen pretty much every other iteration, live action or animated, of Batman, Christian Bale's casting I thought was really solid. I thought he was a really he was an excellent Bruce Wayne, and I thought he was a pretty damn good Batman. Um, in terms of, I saw all these movies in theater. I remember going with one of my buddies to see The Dark Knight, and we walked out and we were stunned. Like, we can get into that when we get into that. But as far as Batman Begins goes, and Christian Bale's performance, he had a really good supporting cast around him. You got Michael Caine, you got Liam Neeson, you've got Rutger Hauer, you've got Morgan
Tom
Freeman
Wilkinson,
as
Morgan
Lucius
Freeman.
Fox.
Yeah.
This was a solid cast, and Bale, he brought the right humor and emotionality of the character of Bruce Wayne, not to mention Linus Roach as Thomas Wayne. We get more time with the Waynes in this movie than we have in any other movie prior. And you really feel the weight of that moment where Thomas and Martha Wayne are shot there in the alley behind the Opera House. And the relationship between Thomas and Bruce, very warm, very fatherly, very realistic in a lot of ways. And one of my favorite lines is actually the conversation between Thomas and Bruce is, all living things feel fear. And Bruce says, especially the scary ones, and Thomas is like, especially the scary ones. This
All
movie,
right.
so anyway, those are just my starting thoughts on Batman Begins. So,
As for me, folks, when I saw this movie in theaters, it's like, okay, so I had not seen I was not familiar with Christopher Nolan's style. I had seen a picture of Christian Bale in the bat suit, which was at that time, it was very reminiscent to Michael Keaton's bat suit, or at least with the shorter ears. But I'm like, okay, I'm getting behind this. This looks good. And then I saw the movie, and it's like, this is fucking awesome.
yeah.
I mean, this was before I even had an analytical bone in my body. And I will get to your question, Niazo. Don't worry. I have seen your question. I will get to it. But yeah, Tom Wilkinson as Falcone. They were not bringing out all the main characters that we know from the Rogues Galleries. No, this was an origin story, and it was one that was done well. Now, yes, it was done differently from all what we're used to. He never joined the League of Assassins, which instead it was now called League of Shadows. Ken Watanabe, or Watanabe rather, as the false, because spoilers, folks, as the false Ra's al Ghul. I thought he did a good job with that. I mean, you see Christian Bale go through hell in this movie when he's training. I love, he's like, are you ready to begin? I could barely stand. Death doesn't wait for you to be ready. Death is not considerate nor fair. And make no mistake, here you face death. And I also love how Ra's is able to basically, the second he takes a stand, Panther, Jiu-Jitsu, or Tiger, Jiu-Jitsu, Panther, you're skilled, but this is not a dance. And he just wipes the floor with him. And I also like how it begins with Bruce Wayne in prison. It's like, what the fuck is he doing in jail? You know? I mean, it's like, wait, okay, we got the kids. Okay, now he's an adult. Why is he in prison? And I love this. It's like, I don't need protection for them, because he wipes the floor with like 6 of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit, man. But getting to Neozoic's question, because I know that he'll be there, or he'll raise a stink. Just joking, buddy. Orange Hat and Crew, do you think the superhero movie should go back to standalone trilogy films like Dark Knight Trilogy, less on the cinematic universe? Yes, I actually do, because honestly, movies are failing due to the major humongous budgets. With Dark Knight, you had movies that didn't do as well, but the thing is, you kept them grounded, you kept them contained. If you're blowing them out with too much stuff, they will eventually turn into something that is untenable. I mean, one of the greatest fan films that I've seen was the Death of Superman fan film with Dark Knight stuff put in there, Batman Begins stuff, Brandon Routh as Superman, and Rona Mitra as Wonder Woman, and they were using different clips of these different movies. They had Hulk painted gray from Incredible Hulk as Doomsday, and it's like, oh shit, man! It's where they used to cut all these things together with these different movies, how they made these fan films. It was done really damn well because, or you had Batman going up against Doomsday, which was fun. It's such a bad way of doing it, but it was also a really interesting way of doing it. It's like they could pull this off, you know. At this time, they could pull this off, but they didn't. But honestly, they never did. They had to wait till the Man of Steel arc to get the black suit. I love the black suit Superman. I also love the Doomsday arc. But honestly, what do you guys think? I think that they should start doing standalones again.
Honestly, as someone who grew up in the era of standalone superhero movies or trilogies or duologies, I'd be perfectly fine if they did that again. Here's the thing, and just quick aside. Did I enjoy and was I thoroughly entertained by the Infinity Saga of the MCU? Yes, I was.
Yep.
It started out small and then it did it go big? Yes, it did, but it was built up that way. It was built to be bigger and more epic, and it ended solidly, entertainingly. Maybe not flawlessly, but it was a damn good ending with Endgame. So yeah, I would be perfectly fine with going back to the model of trilogies, duologies, or just standalones, one-offs. Because not everything needs to be a universe.
That is true. Kate,
So,
your thoughts?
That's my 2 cents.
I completely agree. Having the trilogy, Nolan knew what he was gonna do, in his third movie when he started his first movie. Obviously, he had to make some changes because in the third movie he was supposed to have the Joker opening up, or not, sorry, the Joker coming out of Blackgate when Bane opens up Blackgate. So there was supposed to be still, Joker storyline in the third one. So obviously there were some changes in the third one, but yeah, I would like a good, 3-part standalone because we had the same thing for the X-Men movies. We had X-Men, X2, X-Men Last Stand, and those were all kind of together. And then even the other trilogy of oh shoot, First Class, and then Days of Future Past, and then what was the third one?
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. That was
Yeah,
kind of its own little trilogy, right? Even though you had Dark Phoenix as its own, it's as like a fourth one, but everything was kind of within. We kind of consider them their own things. So I would really, yeah, like that to make it simplistic. Kind of the things tend to be, oh, if it's bigger, it's better, or it has to be bigger to be better. But if we trim it back down, I think we can get back to just like good stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. As for Batman Begins, I do like how they didn't go with again the normal rogues gallery Joker and all that shit. Because honestly, you want to make a good Joker, and you can't have Batman year one basically against the Joker. It just wouldn't work. Joker would slaughter him. So I do like how they did this movie. They basically had to have Batman be comfortable with him or with himself. He had to master his fear before he actually became who he would grow to be, which is the bane of crime in Gotham.
Yeah.
And I love that too because the movies have great lines in them. And one of the best lines in this movie was, I never said thank you. And he looks back at him, and you'll never have to. Because he wasn't doing it for glory. He wasn't doing it for fame. No, he was doing it because he understood that the police were not able to do it all the way. And he was the shock that Gotham needed to basically break the city out of apathy, which is exactly what he said. It's like, or the people of Gotham need something to break or to shake them out of apathy, and I can't do that as Bruce Wayne. As a man, I'm flesh and blood. I could be stopped, I could be broken, I could be killed. But as a symbol, I could be elemental. I could be something that is unbreakable. What symbol, sir? Something, well, and then he eventually figures out what it is. Bats. He's like, why bats? Bats frighten me. It's about time the city, or it's about time criminals share my dread. And to actually turn your own fear into something that can basically bring out the fear in others, well, yeah, it was a clever thing. Now, there's been a lot of debate lately with some of the stuff that Ra's al Ghul or Ra's al Ghul says. I know, folks, it's mostly Ra's al Ghul. It's pronounced Ra's. But in this movie, it was Ra's al Ghul. So,
yeah.
There's
You
one
gotta
line.
give him his little changes here and there of like
Yeah.
League of Shadows or whatever,
Yeah.
Ra's al Ghul or whatever. Because overall, like, it's a good trilogy, and he was trying to base it so much in real life that you gotta give him the little things here and there that he changed, you know.
That would have been interesting. Cillian Murphy playing.
Cillian Murphy had auditioned for Bruce Wayne, but instead, obviously, they brought him in as Jonathan Crane, aka the Scarecrow.
Scarecrow, yeah.
Isn't it Killian?
Yeah.
It might be Killian. Yeah, I think it is Cillian Murphy.
He's a fucking Italian, so it's Cillian. Sicilian.
No.
Sicilian.
He's Irish.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
The name, yeah, that's Irish.
Murphy.
But yeah, I get it. I get it.
Irish, dude.
Whoops.
Did you not see his hands in his pants when he met the prince? His hands in his pockets?
No. And anyway.
Yeah.
The line that he drops, when a forest grows too wild, a purging fire is both necessary and inevitable. And it's like, that works on so many levels. I literally turned it into a GIF. Except that I haven't said but I only said necessary. I didn't stop I didn't put and inevitable in it because, well, for reasons.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about what he does, or the great thing about Ra's al Ghul. That man has absolute conviction that what he is doing is right.
Yeah.
How do you stop somebody with that level of conviction? The thing is, I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you.
Yep.
And yet, almost every bad guy in the Dark Knight trilogy, he doesn't kill them. But they do die, except for the Joker, who was locked up for all time in Arkham. I mean, even when Bane broke into Gotham in Dark Knight Rises, he wasn't going to bust out Joker. But getting over to the Dark Knight.
Dark Knight Rises, doesn't Catwoman like blast him with the?
Yeah, she's riding the bad pod, and she uses. Yeah, she's riding the bad pod.
Yeah.
She's on the bad pod. She uses the cannons on the front of the bad pod to kill Bane.
Right, and she's like yeah, because she makes a line. She's like, "Oh, you say no guns, but like I'm not a fan," or something like that.
It's like, your stance on guns. Not sure I feel the same about it as you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As she like blasted him, like, and you're like, all right, bro, like, hey.
Now, Dark Knight, we all know what the question this is going to be. Heath Ledger as Joker. Was he a good Joker, or was he not a good Joker? Because believe it or not, folks, there are some people who think that he wasn't a good Joker.
And those
what are your thoughts, Ambassador and Kate. Kate
Yeah,
first.
I don't know who those people are who think that he wasn't a good Joker, but because I full on went in and I was like, who's gonna do Joker better than Jack Nicholson? Like I realized, and I knew that Nolan obviously had a very different feel. His Gotham felt different. His movies feel different. They're obviously going to be a different take. But I was like, I can't imagine like a live action. I was like, what's it going to look like? Because my idea of Joker was either from the animated show or the 80s movies. So I was like, what are they going to do? How are they going to do it? And then I saw Heath Ledger's Joker and I was like, I'm sold. I like it. I love it. And I never knew if he was telling me the truth or not. And I liked that. Like the way he told the story about his scars, like I don't know which one is true or if either one of them are true. And like he was terrifying, but like also you're just like, wow, this guy's really good. And even like the extras, I know there's a scene where he like crashes the party in the penthouse, and Alfred actually, or Michael Caine forgets his line because he's so terrifying as the Joker. He did a great job, and he won an Oscar for his performance. Like I don't, I think the voices that are saying he didn't do a good job are very few and far between, and
Yeah.
shouldn't be regarded as.
Well, a lot of them were comic fans. And
Gotcha.
they think that his anarchist stance was too over the top as an anarchist and terrorist. And it's like, have you not seen what the Joker does? I mean, honestly.
I mean, if you wanna, I don't go into movies comparing them directly to comics.
Yeah.
Even when I see movies or whatever based off of books, like I split it in my head. So uh Nolan, it's his take on Batman, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Just like people have had different takes on Batman in the comic books.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
All right. As for our Ambassador, your thoughts on Joker?
Heath Ledger set a benchmark with his performance as the Joker. Sadly, it was a benchmark that cost him his life and cost us a great talent, because Heath Ledger was a truly remarkable, talented actor. Even in some of his smaller films, like The Order and so on. I mean, this was a guy that was just getting out of the gate good. He had a good start with 10 Things I Hate About You and The Patriot. Yeah, same here. Madam Ambassador, we both love that movie. His Joker has not yet been surpassed, and I don't know if it ever will be. Comparing him and Nicholson, even Nicholson said, "Kid, don't worry about what I did. You go in there and do your thing." Because here's the thing. Nicholson's Joker is an homage to the Cesar Romero and a bit of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. That's what Nicholson's Joker is. Ledger's Joker is a product of his own talent and obviously Christopher Nolan's excellent writing and casting, obviously. This movie in itself is a great study of what happens when a immovable force meets an
unstoppable force meets an immovable object.
Immovable object. Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to say. And you've got the interplay between and I hate myself for leaving him out, but Gary Oldman as Jim Gordon, who became Commissioner Gordon in this film.
Yep.
The score for this movie, the opening scene, one of the most iconic opening scenes I think in cinema, the bank job by the Joker and
Yeah.
the crew. Absolutely stellar. When me and my buddy, this was a buddy of mine that I've known since high school, we went to see this because we'd seen the trailer. I was like, dude, we need to go see this. He's like, hell yeah. And we walked out and we're like, that was the best damn movie we've seen in a very long time. It's been a while. I mean, this movie is over, let's see, it came out in 08. 18 be 10 years. It'll soon be 20 years in 2028.
Yep.
And this movie still is a talking
16
point.
years.
Right? Yeah. This movie is still a talking point among cinephiles, people who love cinema.
Yep.
And it is a credit to obviously Christopher Nolan, Christian Bale, Heath Ledger, may he rest in peace. And I do sincerely hope he is, because unfortunately he took his life. But I think, just a brief aside, I like to believe that when somebody is mentally disturbed, that the Almighty does look on that and does not hold it against the person. But
Wait,
that's
who took their
another
life?
Heath Ledger did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
He died from an accidental overdose.
Well, either way,
It was not something that, or he was not taking those drugs recreationally. He was in a drug trial.
I'm aware of that. What I'm saying is, there is a theory that he may have committed suicide because of the
theory,
role.
but it's not one that lines up with the official
Either,
statements.
either way, we're getting off in the weeds. Either way,
But yeah,
just ignore what I said. It's all right.
All right.
I'm not trying to demean the guy by no means. May he rest in peace. Either way, but his role as a Joker in this movie was great. The movie itself, even if you take out his part, still a great movie. I mean, you've got Michael J. White as one of the gangsters, and when Batman goes to Hong Kong, and well, as the Joker said, Batman has no jurisdiction. He'll grab him and make him squeal.
And make him squeal.
Squeal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can do the voice, folks.
And I one other comment I'll make. When Joker's walking out of the hospital, that part where he shakes the detonator, complete ad lib. Complete ad lib by Heath Ledger, because there was a delay in one of the explosions and he played it off perfectly.
Yeah, he did. He was at that point, folks, he was completely in method mode.
Yep.
He wasn't Heath Ledger. He was the Joker.
Yep.
And that's the wonderful thing about Heath Ledger as the Joker. And Aaron Eckhart, I'm going to get into him as Two-Face. But also, my thoughts on Heath Ledger as the Joker, he did it brilliantly. Now, folks, I fully admit, it's like, Heath Ledger, the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You and A Knight's Tale as the Joker? I don't know. But I don't know. I'm going to watch it, but I don't know. I had my doubts at first. And then I watched this movie in the theaters, and I'm like, I want more of this, please. Like, seriously. No, I don't want to leave the theater. I want this movie. And then I heard that Heath Ledger died. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, just before this movie comes out, the news comes out and Heath Ledger died. And I'm like, no, man. No. He did not die. But, yeah, he died during the filming of The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.
Yeah.
But his performance in this movie, he makes everybody question their morality. And I absolutely love it. It's like, or he's like, you're garbage that kills for money. Don't talk like one of them. You're not. Even if you'd like to be. To them, you're just a freak. Like me. They need you right now, but when they don't, they'll cast you out. Like a leper. You see, their morals, their code. That's a bad joke. Drop at the first sign of trouble. I'll show you. When the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other. You see, I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve. And he can get in Batman's head to the point where Batman's like, all right, enough of this shit. I'm not playing anymore. And Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent was brilliantly played. I mean, he played with that anger, with that attitude, that temper just under the surface. But once he got burned, and once he got the acid or the fire that burned away half of his life, damn, man, they did that really fucking well. Because if you think about it, folks, he was scabbing over as he was they show the face scabbing over during the events of the film, or during the events of him after he got injured. And it's like he takes a drink of or he takes a shot of alcohol, of whiskey or whatever, and you see it come out under it or out from the opening of his scarred side. And I'm like, that has gotta sting. That is raw alcohol over raw nerve endings. That has gotta hurt like a bitch. And I have the coins. I have the two-headed coins, and I love using them every now and then to play magic tricks with my niece and nephew. Although those two little shits, 3 and 5, are already able to actually no, 3 and 6, soon to be 4 and 6, but damn, they already figured out the tricks, you know. And they're that smart. But Aaron Eckhart, and as the first one had a great cast, this one also had a great cast. Michael Jai White, Heath Ledger, Eric Robinson as what's his name? Salvatore Maroni.
Yep.
I mean, I love him as Salvatore Maroni, but I also like the Batman, or like it when he's like, I want the Joker. From one professional to another. If you're gonna try to intimidate someone, pick another spot. From this height, the fall won't kill me. I'm counting on it. And then he just fucking lets him go. He's like, whoa. So, and he just knocks the wind out of him, also busts his leg up a little bit.
Yep.
I just love how it's played, because it's like Batman realizes, I know what I'll have to become to stop somebody like this. This is a character you can't stop. He tells him, you have nothing to stop me with, nothing to threaten me with, nothing to do with all your strength. So you can hit me, you can beat me, you can fucking kill me. I don't care. How do you stop somebody like that? Well, Batman figured out a way. He made him, or the Joker, realize that not everybody is as ugly as everybody, but then the Joker had a backup. Don't worry, I came prepared. It's a funny world we live in. Speaking of which, you want to know how I got these scars? But I love, oh my God, I actually do the voice sometimes. I actually made Steph from My Nerdy Home crack a smile on that one too, because she's like, oh my God, you did that perfectly. Another great shot in this movie was, oh damn, what was it? I just had it in my freaking head. But it was earlier on in the film. William Fichtner. He was the manager of the bank, or of the mob bank.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you believe in? I believe what doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger. And it's like, holy shit, he did the smallest role, but he still did a great job with it.
Yeah.
I mean, the Joker is just well done. Michael Jai White. I mean,
Gamble.
Yeah, such a great, or they did such great bits in this movie. Dent at the end, where it was between Harvey, Gordon, and Dent. It's like, or Harvey, Batman, and Gordon. It's like, holy shit, man, this could go either way. And I love how the lines are so poignant. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And Batman makes that sacrifice. But another person who we haven't really mentioned a lot in this is Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Playing Alfred. He doesn't just play right away, sir. okay, sir, whatever you say, Master Wayne. Nope. He plays, you're getting too lost in this monster of yours. What the fuck are you doing? Knock that shit off. Is that, or what would you call that if it's not about thrill seeking? Damn good television. But I mean, this is an Alfred that cares so much about him that in the third movie, he uses the truth to try to break through to Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if, or I can't deal with that. I mean, Rachel was going to wait for him. What if she wasn't? What if she had written a letter saying that she chose Harvey Dent over you? And what if, to spare you pain, I burnt that letter? I mean, getting into Dark Knight Rises now, folks, a lot of people have a problem with Tom Hardy as Bane. I mean, why not the wrestler? Yada, yada, yada. It's like, look, I get it, folks. When it comes, and I agree with Mara too, but I also like this version of Bane because it fits what they had in mind. This is not going to be the muscular, you're not going to get somebody like that. And the person who played Bane the last time is dead. So, yeah, steroids killed him. But, the one from Batman and Robin, folks. Yeah. But, yeah, Tom Hardy is Bane, man. Who had a voice like this?
It fit the the world that Nolan had built.
Yes.
You know, just like Two-Face fit the world that was built in the 80s by like the 80s Batman. Like it fit that cheesy world that was built. This Bane fit the world that Nolan built.
Yeah.
I think.
And I loved it too.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, here's the other thing too, because there is throughout the evolution of the character of Bane in the comic books in particular, he does eventually get off of the Venom compound that makes him super strong, and he does retain a measure of super strength without the Venom, but he still has his mind. Because the thing you have to remember, Bane is not just, he's a criminal mastermind in every sense of the word. A lot of people only focus on the Bane that we saw in Batman the Animated Series, and of course, Batman and Robin. Don't get me started on that damn film.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, what we have here is an iteration of Bane that does exist in the comics, and I think was honestly played brilliantly by Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy did a great job with this, and the fact that the only parts of his face you could see were his eyes. You couldn't see his mouth, and you couldn't see the rest of his face. So a lot of his performance came from his voice and from his eyes, and honestly, it worked.
Yep.
It worked so well.
What I wish they had done like a retake on is spoiler alert, Talia al Ghul dying in that bus. I was like, you guys didn't want to like do that? I was like, y'all didn't want to like redo that one real quick? Like just do another take?
It's like,
well, and then my favorite part is that it cuts back to like Catwoman, Batman, like standing there, and they're looking at him like, what? Like, and even Commissioner Gordon's face is like, what just happened? Like they're all look confused. And I'm like, I'm not supposed to be laughing right now. Like no one's supposed to be laughing. Can you Can you re-edit this or like? That's like the only part that I'm like, guys,
reshoot
can you?
it. Don't be
camping, something.
Just die.
Look, here's the thing.
Take two.
Here's the thing. I loved the fact that it was Talia al Ghul, Raish's daughter, in this. I did, and I love the fact of the subterfuge of her having an alternate identity. But I really need to rewatch this, because if you rewatch Begins and Dark Knight Rises back to back, she parrots or mirrors a lot of the dialogue that Raish says in Begins. But it had been so long and people hadn't probably rewatched Begins that they never caught on to it. And you're like, oh, wait a minute. That makes sense because of the dialogue she is saying. It isn't verbatim.
She wants to save the world.
It echoes what
Yeah.
Raish said to Bruce in Begins.
It should be you by my side saving the world.
Yeah.
And then she's like, you have to invest if you want to save the world. And then it's like,
Amen.
Or
I
even
mean,
when she's
when I
talking
was
about
watching this
like the
movie, I
nights where she
did
had to
catch
hide.
that. I did catch that. It's like,
Amen. Yeah.
she is kind of speaking a little bit like Raish. Oh,
Well, and not to mention another character that we had. I think it was I don't know if it's the same character it was in the animated series, but Roland Daggett, or the head of Daggett Enterprises, played by
Krennic.
Krennic.
Rogue One. I can't remember his
Yeah,
name.
I can't think of his damn name. Son of a gun. But it's still a great casting either way. Either way
Yeah.
you slice it. And then, of course, you had Cillian Murphy back as Jonathan Crane as the judge.
That's great.
Yeah, when everybody was let out of Arkham. I also do like Morgan Freeman, who is so underrated. Now, I want to give my favorite line from him before I address a couple of the questions that Neozoic has.
Yeah.
One of the best lines from two of the best lines from him is, like, the first one is, let me get this straight. You believe that your client, one of the wealthiest, most powerful individuals in the world, is secretly a vigilante who spends his nights beating people to a pulp with his bare hands, and your plan is to blackmail this person? Good luck. But also, another one which was really great was also in the same movie, where he tells Batman flat out, as long as this machine is at Wayne Enterprises, I won't be. He's like, beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful, unethical, dangerous.
Yep.
Because yes, while that machine was active, he could spy on anybody. But he was only using it to find the Joker. He's like, I have to find this man, Lucius. At what cost? And he's like, this is too much power for one person. That's why I gave it to you. Spying on 30 million people isn't part of my job description. And it's just so great, man.
Yeah.
When you're done, type in your name.
In your name.
And he did, and it fried the system.
Yeah.
But in the third one, I also like it because he plays a witty foil for him. And getting back to your point at Spain, but before I do get back to your point, Spain, I do want to address these questions, because otherwise, I'll feel bad about it. Orange Hat and Crew, how do you feel about the people wanting Two-Face survive and have him as the main villain in the sequel? I wanted him to survive, because it's like, how you shouldn't waste somebody like that. But unfortunately, they played it in a way in which he had to die.
Yeah.
And I really
Yeah,
do feel that
I think it was a really good parallel with what was going on in Bruce Wayne's life. You know, like Alfred keeping the truth from him about Rachel, and then him keeping the truth along with Commissioner Gordon from Gotham. I think it was a good parallel, and that's why it was. Yeah, I wish we had gotten some more time with him, because he would have been great. So, like, imagine if we had Bane, Two-Face, and Joker in Dark Knight Rises. You know what I mean? But with
Dead
the story,
Batman, that's what that resulted in. Holy fuck!
Right.
That's almost like that would be almost like too much, because that's almost packing too many villains, and we've already learned that having too many villains in a movie is a bad thing, i.e. Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. And they already were doing like the mob bosses and stuff too. So yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But I do wish we would have seen a little bit more of him. But I like the story that was built with him.
Oh yeah. Totally.
As for this one, do you think the Dark Knight Rises is overhated? I do believe it has its flaws, but they had to go with what they had because they originally planned for the Joker to be in it. But I honestly, yes, it is the weakest of the three. Dark Knight is obviously the best of the three. 213 is my preference for this. But I do believe that it is overhated. Yes.
Yeah. I'm inclined to agree.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt character. Do you feel that his character should have been Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, or instead of John Blake?
No, John Blake's
No,
good.
John Blake's good. I didn't want him to be Robin, which they played that as with the middle. It's like, you should use your real name, Robin. And it's like, nice try, but no. I do like the dialogue between Gordon and him when Bane reads out the truth. It's like, there's a point far out there where the rules become shackles. And letting the bad guy ahead. One day you're going to be there, and when you are, I hope you have a friend like I did to plunge their hands into filth so you can keep yours clean. Wouldn't it be cool if a cell in Arkham showed painting smiley faces as an orange? How you doing, Vanya? Good to see you. As for Anne Hathaway as this grounded version of Selena Kyle, I honestly thought that she was very well played. She did a great job. I mean, honestly, you thought that she really did freak out, even though she was playing or even though she was playing timid. But when she goes serious, it's like, you really should have just done what we agreed to. Well, nobody's going to miss you, not even in that dress. Yes, but everybody here is going to, or everybody is already missing him. Well, they're not going to look for him in a place like this. I don't know. You did just use the cell phone. It's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, she was smart.
She played it really well. Homage. Not homage. Yeah, they could have done that. They could have done that as a homage. Sorry. Yeah.
Homage.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be cool if there was a Dark Knight 4 where the cop became Nightwing? No. Honestly, it would have been an interesting concept, but I think they ended it as they should have, where it was it was the life of Batman. Yeah. Batman basically came back for one last run because he knew that Gotham would be destroyed if he didn't, because Bane was too extreme for the League of Shadows. It's like, if this guy is too extreme for the League of Shadows, if what you say about him is true, this city needs me.
Yeah.
And
but
I
also, he did the very thing he wanted to do. He set out to become a symbol, and when he plunged his hands, so to speak, into the muck and the dirt in order to keep Gotham clean, in order to keep somebody else's hands clean, in order for, their savior that they looked to save face, then he became exactly what he wanted to. Like the kid drawing Batman symbols everywhere, the young cop understanding what Batman had done. Even the older cop who was like, "Oh, you're in for a treat, son," because he hadn't seen, Batman in action. Like he very much became the Thing. So, even though I may not have particularly liked, the way that they wrote out certain things, the way that Nolan set up his universe, I guess, like his Gotham universe, was really good. Like it had a coherent beginning, middle, and an end that made sense. And you can't say that for a lot of movies nowadays.
Yeah, it's true.
Now, the poignancy of the writing. Well, 1 second, or go ahead, Ambassador. Then we'll get into this last bit.
Okay. One of the things about The Dark Knight that I really appreciated, and this has not been really done before in a Batman movie, we see Batman defeated utterly, not just his mind, but his body. And the way that they portrayed that moment in Dark Knight Rises, the battle there in the sewers below one of the armories, or the key armory for Batman's equipment. Bane is an absolute beast. He's like, Ah, you think the shadows are your ally? I was born in it, bred to it. I didn't see the light until I was a man, and by then it was nothing but blinding.
You butchered that line.
Shut up. It's close enough.
Was it?
Yes, it was.
But yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Or the poignancy of the writing. There was in the first line, or in the first movie, there was a brilliant line in which he recites to reveal himself to Rachel. It's like, tell me your name. You could die. At least tell me your name. It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me. I mean, it works because it is literally what he is about. He's trying to, or he tries to hint to her, it's like, inside I am more. And she's like, well, yeah, okay. But it's not who you are underneath. It's what you do that defines you. Except that he can't exactly say it at that time. But then he says it, or she says it to him, which he later lets her know. And in the final one, it's like, shouldn't the people know the hero who saved them? A hero can be anyone, even someone doing something as
simple as putting a coat
over a young boy's shoulder to let him know the world hasn't ended. And he then starts moving out, and I love how James Gordon actually takes the time to reflect. He's like, Bruce Wayne. It is such a great moment because that movie, they weren't thinking all the way ahead to that moment, I'm guessing. So I do like how they how in the first movie there is that bit. And it played perfectly because these lines in these movies have become so usable. They have become rallying cries all throughout the internet in real life. The writing of Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy is almost like poetry in motion because some of it, could be better. Some of it could be worse. The line with the blind prisoner, he's like, you think being fearless makes you strong? It makes you weak. How can you move faster than possible, do things faster than possible without the most basic impulse, the fear of death? And then he tries saying, it's like, I am afraid. Well, then make the climb. How? As the child did, without the rope. And then fear will find you again. That was the wonderful thing. He had to keep his fear. The wonderful thing about the first one, he had to defeat his fear. However, defeating it doesn't necessarily mean destroying it. By no longer being afraid, you give yourself a sense of entitlement or invincibility. What Bane did was, by breaking both his mind and his spirit, was actually in a pseudo fucked up way a gift, because he needed that fear to come back from where he was. Another one from Neozoic. How do you feel about the people who complain about the ending of Bruce Wayne retire from being Batman, saying it's out of character for Batman because the real Batman would never retire? When you are looking at it from the comics, yes, we understand why he would never retire. We understand all of that. But this is a grounded version of Batman. A person who, above all realization, set out to save his city, and he did that. But he also made sure that measures were taken to ensure that somebody could carry the mantle as he could no longer do so. His body was breaking. His body was broken, and he had to use machines and technological advancements from his own company just to walk right without a cane. He essentially had to put himself in sort of an exoskeleton just to basically make or be able to do what he did in the third movie. Because remember, it was 8 years.
Yeah.
And his body, I mean, it's like, well, I have seen worse cartilage in knees. Well, that's good. No, that's because your knee has no cartilage. And all the scar tissue on your organs and kidneys and all this and that. I mean, you see that this man has literally broken himself to protect the city. He has pretty much given everything he could, and then he had to give more.
Yeah.
And in reality, which this movie gave most of its basis, grounded itself mostly into, nobody is going to want to do that forever. Not even somebody as psychologically damaged as Bruce Wayne. Now, to be completely truthful, folks, Bruce Wayne is absolutely psychotic. When his parents were killed, when his parents died, he psychologically snapped.
Yeah.
And it's this man who is going to dress up as a fucking bat and beat criminals to a pulp. Learn all that you need to do to become a master detective that is greater than any detective in law enforcement. Learn every form of martial arts, master them, and be able to do the things he does. Only a psychotic individual who was mentally traumatized would do something like that. And yes, vengeance or justice, not vengeance, it is still vengeance because that is his sole motivation. His parents dying was the one thing that tipped this kid into a reality of darkness. And the only way that he could, or like it or not, Bruce Wayne is mentally a child. Yes, he is mature. He knows how to do business. He knows how to do all that stuff. Sure, this and that. But in that dark corner of his mind, which is Batman, he is a child that rationalized the only way to defeat what is going on in Gotham is to terrorize those who terrorize others. Fear begets fear, and fear against fear. Each time the films each of the films have a new themes. Begins equals fear, Dark Knight equals chaos, and which is exactly what it says on these things: fear, chaos, pain.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about the Joker with the chaos. He basically admitted it to Harvey Dent. Introduce a little anarchy, upset the established order, and everything becomes chaos.
Yeah.
I'm a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with one if I caught it. I just do things. Now he is lying there too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as much as Patton Oswalt, folks, the actor who has gone completely insane in reality, as much as I cannot stand the man in reality, he came up with a brilliant dissertation and thesis of the Joker from The Dark Knight. He was military trained.
Yep.
Especially in black ops psychological warfare. Because if you pay attention to how he does things, what he says, what he does, this man knows his shit and has done shit and possibly fucked his mind up, or the shit that he had to do fucked his mind up. And that's why he became the Joker.
Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, if you look at the skill set that this particular Joker has, he's experienced with all sorts of firearms, explosives, obviously infiltration, and so on. Alternate means of combat. He uses a pencil, a freaking pencil to kill a guy. He's as dangerous as John freaking Wick, for Pete's sake.
John Wick versus the Joker. There's a versus series for you.
Damn.
Pencil versus pencil.
Your pencil versus my pencil.
Ta-da.
Let's see.
But anyway,
But,
your point.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, get your point done. I was telling or saying.
Oh, in terms of the Joker's background, yeah, more likely this guy was military trained. He could have been either Navy SEALs or Delta. Wouldn't surprise me on either. Obviously, he suffered some sort of psychotic break that made him develop this Joker persona, and it's terrifying to think that there might actually be somebody out there like this guy. Somebody actually operating in the world that is like this guy, but we just haven't seen them yet. That's how grounded Nolan went with these characters. Because theoretically, Ra's al Ghul, Bane, Talia al Ghul, Jonathan Crane, Harvey Dent, even Bruce Wayne.
Members, yeah, a lot of rogues galleries.
Well, and the great thing about this particular series, except for the Joker, Nolan went with not necessarily the mainliners of Batman's rogues gallery, but he used ones that were perfect for the story he was wanting to tell.
Yeah. Kate, any final thoughts on this? Or anything you wanted to add?
Negative.
Okay. Well, folks, we've been talking for about 2 hours, and overall, I love the Dark Knight trilogy because I do like a grounded sense to it. I actually like to look for movies that have that dark, grittier edge that, or when it comes to superheroes, it's like you're not always going to get that happy ending, because having the happy ending is all well and good for fantasy and whatnot. But that's the wonderful thing about Nolan. It's fantasy. Yes, it's Hollywood. It's movies. But in these movies, you have something that truly breaks you. That really challenges you, and you're not always going to have the positive outlook. Batman literally had to sacrifice his integrity or the symbol that he was in order to keep Gotham safe. It was built on a lie, and that lie endured. Unfortunately, the truth always comes out.
Yeah.
So yeah, folks, we're going to take a break we hope you all have a wonderful holiday week. Yep, have a good night, Riot, and have a happy Thanksgiving. Ambassador and Kate, you guys are probably going to have a nice, good turkey day, are you?
Gobble, gobble.
That's the plan.
But yeah, didn't The Dark Knight Rises have a happy ending? Yes, it did.
Yeah,
but did Dark
sorta.
Knight?
No.
The Dark Knight trilogy is basically the Star Wars original trilogy.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Yeah. It really kind of is. Yeah.
You got a good ending for the first one, leaving it slightly open for the next movie. Next movie goes really fucking dark. It has has a darker ending. Then the next movie, you have a big problem that is, or something happened that, well, comes full circle in the next one, and then you get your big happy ending.
Finale.
So
yeah.
long, and thanks for all the fish. Yep, thank you, nerdy ogre.
I get that reference.
Yeah. Neozoic Riot Kitty.
I understood that reference.
Yep. Conroy, good to see you, buddy. Vanya, thank you to everybody. Geek Archivist, thank you for coming in, man. Sorry I didn't highlight all the stuff. Might have been an interesting news, but yeah. Tuesday is my last guilty pleasure of the month, which will be Man of Steel. As many people say, all of those movies were terrible. It's like, well, honestly, Man of Steel is a movie that I really liked. and everybody says it's a terrible Superman movie, but I'm going to tell you why it's not a terrible Superman movie.
It is not a
And
terrible
so-
Superman movie. It isn't.
Or just tune in and you'll understand why I'm going to tell you it's neither a good Superman movie or a bad Superman movie. So definitely tune in for that. Wednesday will be Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows on discussion on Jade Shadow's channel, Mara's channel at 8:30 p.m. Friday will be the exclusive on X 8:30 discussion for Final Fantasy Spirits Within. And then Sunday we will be back here with another recap. Is there anything that anybody wants to say or plug before we go?
Just real quick plug for me. I will be doing a watch along tomorrow night. Time yet to be determined for Planes, Trains, and Automobiles live on the Ambassador Wing. And I will be uploading the the newest episode of the Tarantino podcast where we discussed Django Unchained. So,
All right. And thank you to all who are following me. Also, make sure that you are all still subscribed onto my channel, Orange Hat. I recently hit 1,600, but YouTube started unsubbing people. So if you can get me back to 1,600 and beyond, I would appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 2,000 so I could do a giveaway for you all. And yeah, if I can get to 2,000 before the end of the year, awesome possum. So thank you to Kate and Ambassador for joining for another night of awesome discussions. And we will all see you on the next one. Stay humble.
Are you done? Are you done?